Ladies and guys who hate being stood up, Andy here, the Inner Winner Show. Let's fucking go. So those of you watching the video rather than just listening to the audio will be able to see that my room looks like an absolute fucking shamble right now. So I've got this new microphone, this bad boy right here. So the audio should sound a lot better. But with that, I've been trying to configure this room and figure out how I want the podcast to be, how I want this set up. I fucked around a little bit with standing up. I kind of didn't like how that felt. That felt weird. And so now I've done the exact opposite. If you're watching the video, you can see I'm like laid back on this chair. I've got my foot. There's my big giant fucking foot. I've got my foot on this table. This is about as chilled as you could ever be without actually laying down. So I want to see how this goes as a podcast format. Whether or not I like this better, like this worse, we'll see. Ignore all the shit in the background. It's an absolute fucking train wreck here, but whatever. I thought I'd sit down and record this podcast, or rather lay down and record this podcast. I just got flaked on, which is the most hilarious timing ever, because I just recorded a video about sending confirmation texts and shit like that. And I sent a confirmation text to this chick that Imogen and I, my girlfriend and I, were going to meet last night. And this chick didn't reply. And normally that's why we send the confirmation text, so that she will reply and say, yes, I'm going to see you tonight, or I'm not going to see you tonight. And if you don't get a reply, that's usually the answer. Like, she's not going to meet you. And so I said to Imogen, all right, I don't know if this chick is going to meet us. I sent a confirmation text this morning. We were going to meet her at like 6 p.m. At 5 p.m., I said, she's probably not going to show up. But we decided to just get dressed anyway, get ready, just go to the meeting spot just in case. Because every now and then you'll get a chick that just doesn't reply because she's fucking retarded. And she'll just reply like 5 minutes beforehand saying, yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I'll be there in 5 minutes. Or they just won't send a text at all and they'll rock up. That's really rare, honestly. That's like 1 in 50 girls will be that stupid or that incompetent. But the vast majority of people will reply and say, yes, I'm coming, or I'm not coming. Anyway. So we rock up, we're waiting there for a little bit, and I kind of knew she was going to be a no-show. So we had planned like a backup plan. And this is what I say to you guys. If you're not sure that a girl is going to come, or if you kind of think that she might flake, have a backup plan. That way you're not disappointed if she doesn't show up. So I said to Imogen, we'll go for a walk. There's like a nice walk that we like to go on. We'll do a walk, we'll go home, we'll have sex, we'll fuck each other's brains out. Play a video game or something, we'll go to bed. We'll have an early night. It'll be an awesome night. So we waited for about 15 minutes. This chick didn't show up. And yes, it's frustrating. It's annoying. It will always be annoying. Nobody likes being stood up, or nobody likes getting flaked on. This was getting stood up. She just didn't show. But because we had that backup plan, you're able to quickly switch from like, okay, this is annoying, this is frustrating, this is disappointing. How could she do this to me? Like all that kind of crap. You can quickly switch to like, let's go do our backup plan. Let's go for a walk. Let's go get some dinner. Let's go home, have sex. We fucked each other's brains out. It was actually pretty fucking good sex. We did this thing that we like to do. We've only started doing this recently, where we will like look at porn together while having sex and trying to like imitate what we're seeing on the screen. So we'll look at a bunch of different porn videos and kind of imitate that. It's like pretty fucking fun. Anyway, so we had sex, had some dinner. We had a pretty good night. We played some video games. We went to bed pretty early. It was like a really good night. I got my 8 hours sleep like a fucking boomer. It was a good night. And so I want you to take 2 things from this podcast. The first one is, if a chick doesn't show, or you think she's not going to show up, always have a backup plan. Even if you think a girl is going to show up, this was something I started doing years and years and years ago. I would tell myself, okay, I'm super excited to see this girl, but if we don't have sex, or she doesn't show up, or, maybe she's not like her pictures, maybe she catfishes me, or maybe I fucked the date up because I'm nervous, whatever it is, I will go home and play a video game. I will go for a walk I'll go hang out with one of my mates. I will go for a fucking walk around the city or something. I will go hit on some more women. I'll go walk outside, hit on 5 chicks. I'll feel better. I would always have like a backup plan, even if that backup plan is just, I will go to bed early. Sometimes a fucking early night's sleep. I sound like a boomer, but like, who doesn't love an early night's sleep? You know what I mean? Wake up in the morning, go to the gym, crush the gym. Like, that's good shit. So I would always have these backup plans. And this is something that I've kept up. You know, obviously Imogen and I had this backup plan. It's something I recommend all you guys do. Even if you think you're going to meet the girl, like even if you do meet her, but you think, what if I fuck the date up? Or what if we don't have sex? That's something that a lot of you guys like are concerned about. What if, because you don't have enough experience yet, you're like, what if we don't fuck? Like, what if I don't seduce her properly? Or what if she's just not into it? What if she's not ready? What if she doesn't want to do it tonight? Whatever it is. Have a backup plan. Like, have something that you'll do. Even if the date goes poorly, you know, you end the date, you say goodnight, you walk her back to the train station or whatever, and then you go do your backup plan. Even if it's just chill with your homies, even if it's play video games, whatever it is, have a backup plan in mind so that if the date doesn't go the way that you want it to, you can take control again. Because the problem with a bad date or getting flaked on or getting stood up like I did last night, like we did last night, is you feel like hopeless or passive or like it's out of your control, like you're the victim, like it's happening to you. How could she flake on me? How could she, you know, stand me up? This date sucks, poor me. Like you're in that kind of like passive victim mindset. And so you want to kind of take control back and have something to do, have a backup plan so that you can say, no, this was a shit night, or the date didn't go the way that I wanted it to. It was mediocre or whatever. I'm going to regain control and I'm going to have a good night so that tomorrow when I wake up, I'll be like, yeah, last night was like, it didn't go the way I wanted, but it was still a decent night. So backup plan is absolutely mandatory, absolutely recommended. The second takeaway I would like you guys to take away from this is I don't want any of you to think that flakes are abnormal or getting stood up is abnormal. Because yes, it happens less over time. The more you improve your pictures, the more you improve yourself, the more confident you get for sure. The better you get at screening, at figuring out the kind of girls who will probably flake on you or who might flake on you. Like the kind of girls who don't seem reliable or who don't seem super keen to meet you or who seem like they might be a bit of a flighty or a train wreck kind of person. You get better at screening those girls out for sure. But flakes and getting stood up will still happen every now and then. I got stood up last night, right? How long have I been getting laid for? Like 4 years at this point? How many women have I slept with? 160 or something at this point. I've stopped counting, right? I'm still going to get flaked on every now and then. Less than I did before for sure, but it's still going to happen every now and then. So please don't think if you're getting stood up, if you're getting flaked on, if things aren't going the way that you want them to, please don't think that there's necessarily something wrong with you. There's still stuff you can do to improve for sure, but don't get beat down and think, oh, I bet Andy never gets stood up. I bet it's just smooth sailing for Andy. I bet he doesn't even have to try. And yeah, I don't have to try anywhere near as much as I used to, but there are still nights that suck. There are still chicks that let me down. There's still sex that isn't what I want it to be. I still get erectile dysfunction every now and then. I'm still a fallible, shitty train wreck human, right? Just like all of us are. So those are the two things that I want you to take away from this. Flakes are normal. Even guys who know what they're doing get flaked on, get stood up, they have frustrating nights, they have frustrating dates, and then have a backup plan so that the rest of your night still goes decently. I had a decent night last night. It was fun. Went for a walk. We had sex. It's pretty fucking crazy sex. Went to bed early, played a video game. It was good shit. So, yeah, I'll leave it there, guys. This was a fucking weird podcast, like sitting down in this position, I have to say. But I kind of like this. I want to like move things around and get a little more comfortable, but I kind of like this idea of like sitting on a chair. Maybe I won't put my feet up next time, but like kind of relaxing a little more, because standing up, which was what I was doing before, was a little bit too like formal. I didn't really like it. This is probably the exact opposite. This is probably too far in the other direction, like laying on this chair, but I'll figure something out. So adios, guys. Go crush your goals, all that good shit. If you need coaching, links in the description below. If you want a hug and a kiss, leave a comment saying, I would like a hug and a kiss, Andy, and I'll give you a hug and a kiss. That can be done.